good evening. Welcome to my channel. My name is Cameron, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I haven't seen it done before, but maybe I have. I don't know. But I wrote a book, and in this video, I'm going to do a self-interview, and I think I'll call this Interview with the Author. And I'm going to be asking myself various questions that I think you, the reader, may be interested in. The book that I wrote is Marriage, Biblical Facts, Revelations, Testimonies, and a Spiritual Perspective, which is now on Amazon. So let's get started. I felt first inspired, not that I wanted to be a writer, but I was first inspired by a preacher. Close to the end of the sermon, he told everybody that everyone has a story to tell. And then he asked us a question that got me to thinking. I don't know about anybody else, but it got me to thinking, you know, when was I going to tell my story? I've lived a very interesting life, and I got a lot of stories to tell. But, however, nevertheless, I didn't think about writing at that time. It was only about a year later when I got married and I started going through some things. I felt this was something that needed to be shared because what I was going through, I couldn't have been the only one at that time going through something of that nature. And then, instead of running for the divorce court, trying to work it out, and then trying to find out how to work it out. So, I was inspired to write by a preacher. And it's not that I want to be a writer, but I have something to say, and I figure that this book and the other books to come will help somebody, somewhere, Christian or non-Christian. My ideas from this book and the other two to come, possibly three, are going to stem from my personal experiences, my trials, my failures, my triumphs, and how I overcame each situation using the Word of God. I've completed one book, and I have 3 more in me, so stay tuned. The reason it took me a year to write this book is because I had to write when I was moved. Actually, it was a few reasons. I was still in the marriage, going through some things, so I really actually didn't want to finalize the book because I didn't know how the story was going to end. So that's one reason. Another reason is I had to be moved to write, if that makes any sense. I wanted to be factual. I wanted to be true. I wanted to be accurate in the things that I was, conveying to my potential readers. In my opinion, what makes a good read for a book is a book that I can learn from, that I can get some actual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of something from. So real life, true facts that are presented in a book is an interesting read for me. The testimonies would have been the hardest part of the book to write because I had 2 marriages. One marriage, you're reading a book, is a marriage that, me and my husband at the time, who was my high school sweetheart, we weren't thinking about God. God was nowhere in the mix. We just got married for reasons that you'll read about in the book. And I wanted to sit back and recall the series of events that happened within that marriage. And like I said, I wanted to be truthful. I didn't want to exaggerate. I didn't want to drop names. I didn't want to bash anybody. So and that goes for the second marriage as well. Even though, this person was or is proclaimed to be a person of God, you know, I didn't name drop, and I wanted to be truthful and honest and share my perspective, my testimony, as to the series of events that happened within the marriage. I had to be honest with myself, because if I weren't honest with myself, then I wouldn't be honest with you, the reader. So, yeah, the hardest part of writing the book, and it took me some time to go back. I'll write it, and I go back and I'll read it, and every time I go back, something new will come to me. Then I have to revise and, put my new thoughts down into what I have, and, I have to make sure I wasn't trying to be too harsh on myself or the other person. So, yeah, the testimonies, that was kind of hard to write, because we don't want to name drop. We don't want to make anybody feel bad, but we also want to I'm saying we. Well, I mean we. I don't want anybody to feel bad, but I want to convey my testimony from my perspective as truthful and as honestly as possible. And it was a time, because I put a lot of stuff in, but then, after I read it, I felt I was being a little extra, so I had to take some out. But I still left enough in testimony portion so that the reader can kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about, and somebody's going to relate to what I've been through. But the whole purpose of the testimony portion that's outlined within the book is to basically share where I started at, where I ended at, and how God brought me through each and every one. And one testimony is me not knowing that God was in the midst, that he was still bringing us through. And then the other testimony is knowing that God was there and how he brought me through. So I guess one, I was in the dark, one, I was in the light, and then the other one, I was coming into the knowledge of. So, yeah. I don't. I don't process negative reviews at all. I haven't gotten any negative reviews as of yet, but if and when I do get negative reviews, I probably won't even look at them. I see negative reviews as opinions. Somebody may agree with the book, somebody may not agree with the book, but I wrote the book because I was moved by God to write the book. It was a testimony that I had to share with the world, and what better way to do it than putting it, in writing. So negative reviews, with the book, it's going to reach who it needs to reach, and everybody else who has an opinion concerning the review of the book, I mean, it's just that is their opinion. I'm not going to be affected by it at all, because I'm going to continue writing, and I'm going to continue sharing my story, and hopefully, I know it's not hopefully, I know it's going to reach who it needs to reach, and it's going to help who it needs to help, because it's God inspired. Well, you know what? The questions that I wrote down, I thought they would have been enough, but for some reason, I'm not feeling that. I feel that I answered some questions, but I don't think that I answered them all. So what you can do as the viewer, if you have any questions about the book, you can go on Amazon.com, and you can put in the name of the book, or you can put in my name, Cameron D. Brown, and then it'll bring up the book, and then you have purchase options there. I don't have it on audiobook as of yet, and it's not on Kindle. I'm sorry, I'm still working on some things here, but paperback is available. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the comment box. I'll try my best to get back with the answers if and when I can, as soon as possible. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because I have a lot of things that's going to be going on, and a lot of things, if you're a Christian or if you're a non-Christian and you want to learn about different things like the health and well-being of the body and of the mind, this is the place to be. Because here, we'll be providing you with the cornerstones to building up your faith and your religion. If you're not a believer, you may become a believer. Who knows? But the whole purpose of the channel is to shed wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on a variety of things. And originally, I meant for this channel to be for the Christian community, but it's for everybody, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you and take care.